Morning. Welcome to the Josephine County and Basker Auditorium. Today is the weekly business session of the Josephine County Board of Commissioners. Today is January 16th, 2013, and the meeting is starting at 9 a.m. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No, it's on. I think the other speaker box turn it on.
Okay, called the meeting to order this morning, and first we'll start out with the agenda item number 1, which is the proclamation in the matter proclaiming Sunday, January 20th, 2013 as Sanctity of Human Life and Respect for Life Day. Commissioner Hare will read the proclamation for us this morning, and present is Myrna Schoenfeld for receipt of the proclamation. You may come forward.
Should I do it down there, or should I do it up here, which is preferred?
Here. Well,
I'll just go ahead and
read it.
I'll go ahead and read it here, and I'll give you the proclamation. So, in the matter of proclaiming Sunday, January 20th, 2013, as the Sanctity of Human Life and Respect for Life Day, the proclamation is given. Whereas the founders of our country declared that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, and whereas life is to be protected by the government, and whereas if life is not protected, one cannot have liberty or the pursuit of happiness, and whereas life is the future of our world and our nation, and whereas to maintain the respect for life, one can and should demonstrate it in many ways, from conception to natural death. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Josephine County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim Sunday, January 20th, 2013, Sanctity of Human Life and Respect for Life Day, done and dated the 16th day of January, 2013. Josephine County Board of Commissioners, Simon Hare, Chair, Cherryl Walker, Vice Chair, Keith Heck, Commissioner.
Thank you very much, Commissioners. And I'd like to present to you the roses that we always present to the Commissioners. And on it says that in memory of the 56 million babies who have been killed by abortion. And I would like to...
So Commissioner Heck is not here. We'll see that he gets it.
Can I say just a couple of things?
Sure. Okay.
I just want to thank you, first of all, for proclaiming this Sunday as we march for life. And it has been, about 38 years that we have been marching here in Grants Pass. It has been the 40th year of the Supreme Court's decision on Roe v. Wade. 3 years before that, it was Oregon was the number 3 state in the Union that had abortions. And we continue to stand up. They think, well, maybe we'll give up, but we won't give up because we have, first of all, God on our side. Second of all, it is His battle, and we just are His voice in His hands. And that we have protested, we have counseled, we have consoled the women and men that have been involved in abortions, and we will continue to do that. And God is the one that is directing the battle. We just are providing the foot soldiers as to what He does. But so many women have been helped by pro-lifers in many, many ways all over the world, and especially here in Oregon. And that is what we want to do, is to continue to help the women and help them have their babies and provide care for them. And so with that, I thank you so much. And I don't know if any of you can be there at the march, but I would love to have you and read the proclamation at the march too.
Lord willing, I will be there.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing in the matter of annexation to the Illinois Valley Fire District by petition of landowner without election and approval. Is there anyone here for this? All right. The approval of Order 2013-002, Wayne Dingy and Sue Fabian, 689 Forest Creek Road, Selma. Legal description 38-07-34C, tax lot 108. It's 3.36 acres. Landowners Wayne Dingy and Sue Fabian are requesting annexation into the Illinois Valley Fire District. This is a district that they are not currently in, so they're asking that they be annexed without a hearing. So, without an election. So they are not here. All right. Any public comment on this action? Okay. That being, I will close the public hearing and I will accept a motion on this order.
And I think that's my turn.
It is your turn,
I
Mr.
move to approve Order 2013-002 in the matter of annexation to the Illinois Valley Fire District by petition of landowner without election.
I second the motion. Please call a roll.
Commissioner Hare?
Yes.
Commissioner Walker?
Yes. Okay, we're going to move on to the
Just announce motion passed.
Pardon? I'm sorry, I didn't state the motion did pass. There's only two of us.
Yeah. It's always a risk.
Thank you, Commissioner Heck.
Like that.
We're going to move on to the administrative actions and consideration of item 3A, the non-union CPI increase. Is Sarah Moy here, the Human Resources Director? She will explain the item to the board this morning.
Good morning, Sarah Moy, Human Resources Director for Josephine County. So the non-union compensation plan calls for a CPI increase based on the rate of inflation. That was 1.7% this year, and that increase will take place unless the board takes action otherwise. And in determining whether or not that action should take place, the board is to consider a few factors, which we did prior discuss, and I do believe the board is ready to take action on it unless you would like me to run through those factors with you this morning.
Oh, I don't. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Appreciate that. Okay. Are there any requests or comments from the citizens before we take action on this item? On this item? Okay. Thank you. There being none, we will move on to take action.
Though I have a real problem with non-union employees of the county, this will be the fourth year that they have not even received any cost of living increase. And I struggle with that on an aspect of fairness and reality. I do move that the CPI, non-union CPI increase recommendation not to be how's that going to be phrased this year? That the recommendation not be approved, that the non-union compensation plan, that the CPI of 1.7, that it not be granted this year. Did that make sense?
Did you get that? Okay. I second the motion. Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Heck?
Yes.
Commissioner Walker?
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Moy. Okay, we're going to move to the consent calendar. These items have been previously discussed at our administrative meetings this past week. We have several items. I would like to mention, however, that item E on the agenda, which would be, pardon?
Number 4.
Oh, I'm sorry. Pardon me. I missed the public comment. Please back up. Okay, are there any comments or requests from citizens today? Please come, yes, please come forward. Yes, I'm sorry, I don't know people's names yet to call you, so would you please state your name and your address, please?
Yes, my name is Vivian Kirkpatrick Pilger, and I live in Grants Pass. And one of my comments today is, prior to the election, I met with both of you, and Ms. Walker, you were very enthusiastic about televising these meetings. And I understand there's a funding issue. There is PEG money to pay for equipment. I don't know if there's money to pay for people, but at any rate, they used to televise these, and many, many people that couldn't attend used to watch them on TV. And I occasionally watched them on television because it was easier than, coming down here at 9 o'clock in the morning, really. And so I was wondering if you were going to take any action in regards to that.
We have, the board in December, before this board was in place, approved the purchase of equipment for broadcasting meetings. The equipment has not yet arrived, and we are currently working on how we're going to set up that particular program and how we're going to have the video taken so that it can be broadcast. So yes, we are working on it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And one other point in there too is that there is a timeline that hopefully has been talked about, but I'm pushing to see it established so that the board will be able to have a public aired timeline so that you will know that by December of 2016 we've passed the timeline, and so there will be some measurable timeline that you'll be able to know, okay, we will have video by this date. We should have anyway. I'm using 2016 as a hypothetical overstatement.
Oh, yes, I hope so.
Yes, we are working on a timeline. I received information on Friday afternoon to review the equipment and the process that we need to go through to solicit individuals to work on this. So I am working on that, and I will be getting a timeline set up, and that will be made public when it's ready.
And possibly in 2013 as opposed to 2016.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yes, we will all have to learn to understand that Commissioner Heck has a sense of humor, which I appreciate. So,
okay,
thank you.
you.
Anyone else? Public comment. We'll start in the back over here, and that way we'll just move forward. Yes. Please state your name and your address, and you have 3 minutes.
Alrighty. Good morning. Judy Ahrens, a resident of Grants Pass. I, too, want to just ditto what Vivian Kirkpatrick Pilger says. We understand that there's a lot of people that are very concerned about getting the meetings, commission meetings, retelevised. And one of my, you had mentioned, I think, Commissioner Heck, about the timeline and everything. What I'd like to see, if we could just keep that communication going. We have KJO sitting out here in the audience, and if there's a way that will keep us anxious citizens aware of it, because I'm going to be going to these senior citizen locations, and they're anxiously maybe awaiting to know that they'll be televised, because people do see in the aisle at Bymark or something, say, I saw you on TV or something. They're anxious. They do watch these. They have watched in the past these meetings, and they become so well informed since they can't physically get to these meetings. So with us being in, I don't want to insult you, but I'm in this age bracket, and we're not, except for the exception of one here, we understand that people's ailments and stuff, they can't make it to meetings. So I'm hoping you will consider that a real high priority, and if there's any obstacles in the way, that you'll definitely let us know out here, because I think you have some very, 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 to the 10th degree, sharp citizens in this community. So that would be great. Also, I wanted to just share something that's coming up on your Friday meeting at 9 o'clock here. I hope it's going to be well well publicized. But what I'd like to see, and I haven't seen, and I've been out of state for a couple months, is that with this dialogue on whether it's task district and stuff, because I attended that one Friday meeting, that we look at some alternatives. Carl Wilson the other day was asking when Sandy Casanelli and Dale Matthews, I'm really losing it, and Pat Seitz were on, about if the item does not pass, then what can the citizens expect? And I think we haven't heard that side of the dialogue. I think that side of the dialogue is great because there's a few of us that have fantastic ideas. We just haven't been able to present them in a public forum. So if there's a way that we can present them so the public knows if it doesn't pass for the 5th or 6th time, what are our alternatives? And I'm telling you, once again, please consider the creativity that you have here in this community. The people are fantastic I met. They're fantastic. They have fantastic ideas. Don't ignore them because I think they can help you. And in the process, they're going to make you look good. And that would be a good idea, a good thing. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Do you have any comment?
Yeah, just and one thing, Judy, is that one of the comments that was made on the radio interview was that the commissioners have already agreed on a plan. It hasn't even been discussed amongst us yet. So there's no pre-agreed upon plan. If this discussion on Friday goes which way or whichever, I mean that's not even seen the light of day as far as we are concerned, as far as the board goes, and as far as alternatives go. The biggest hitch in the get-along is that if it doesn't appear on the May, and it passes, assuming it passes, then the money can be soon used. If it has to go to November, let's just hypothesize, then even if it is passed in November, it's going to be another year before the money will be able to be used. And that's one of the incumbencies on trying to get it from SOS's side, trying to get it seen to be on the ballot in May. So that was the rush for that. But yeah.
I would like to comment as well about the publication of the hearing. It has had a public printing and publication notice for the hearing this Friday, and also for the one that will be following in about a week. I don't know the exact date of that. Was it 20?
You'll set it then.
Yeah. Okay. We don't have it set yet. We will set it Friday. So the one Friday is the fact finding and the public input, and so that has been noticed in the paper, and I understand it's being discussed on a couple of radio programs. You mentioned Carl Wilson, so it's been broadcast that way. And I personally sent it out to several hundred people in Illinois Valley and asked them to spread it then as well. So we're trying to get the word out there any way we can. We're trying to cover the print, and the radio has been covered, and email. So, and by way of this meeting today, I'd like to announce it again as well, that we want people's input. And the other thing is as far as Commissioner Heck said, there's been no decision made. We haven't heard anything as far as a specific plan from anyone yet. We don't have specific numbers from anyone yet. And so until we get those on Friday, we have no preconceived idea. And if someone has information they would like to provide, because I put this in the email as well, some people will not be able to attend that hearing on Friday. They're welcome to submit in writing their statements and request it be part of the record, and it will become part of the official record for review before the next hearing. So there's a lot of ways you can get the information into us if you specifically cannot attend on Friday, or you know someone who can't. So we'd be glad to hear all of that. And in fact, I've already had several responses from the email that went out, people sending in emails to me saying, I can't be there Friday, but I want you to know, and this is my opinion. So that we would like to hear that. Okay? Thank you. Okay, and this gentleman right here, he had his hand up next. Please, come on up. And in time, I will learn all your names, okay?
My name's Joseph Rice, coast Afghanistan and Grants Pass.
Joseph Rice?
Correct.
Joseph Rice. Thank you.
A week and a half ago, Senator Wyden held a town hall meeting at Road Community College, and 3/4 of the way through that meeting, he dedicated a strong portion of it to the fiscal crisis here in Josephine County, and I noticed that two of you were absent. Why?
I had other commitments that day and could not go.
And I have a prior commitment that I refer to Sundays as the Lord's Day, and I try to conduct the Lord's business on that day unless there is a personal emergency of great necessity, and that did not qualify on my calendar.
As your employer, the citizen of Josephine County, I work in Afghanistan. I expect representation from my commissioners, as I do from my state legislatures, as I do from my federal. It's discerning to me that when our federal elected official takes the time to hold a town hall meeting within Josephine County, it appears you can't be bothered to attend, especially when this county is suffering great fiscal crisis, unemployment, and basically declining. As you are elected based on your ideas to improve this, and I expect participation. What can we expect from you in the future? When he takes 3/4 of his meeting to address it, and not a single commissioner is there, that is bothersome. There were good ideas that came out of the group that was present there, that took the time, that were concerned about what's going on in our government, in our county, and when our elected officials, the county that a senator is visiting, can't bother to attend, it's bothersome.
Mr. Rice, I'm in touch with all of our representatives' office frequently. I get all of their bulletins. I talk with them about the issues, and I have for 25 years. And many times I've attended meetings here before I was elected, and because a lot of people treated them as partisan meetings, it didn't matter to me. I attended whether it was Congressman Walden or whether it was Senator Wyden or whether it was any other representative for the last 25 years. I did have a previous commitment that had been long-standing on that day. It also had to do with my church, it happened. But I did have a previous commitment, and I'm not a person who will break a long-standing commitment when someone's relying on me to be there. And otherwise, I would have been there. So, being the fact that we are in contact with our representatives on, if not a daily, but certainly weekly or every other weekly basis as to what's happening, and they send us constant updates, we call them. So we are monitoring that, and we are in touch with them. So please rest assured we're doing what we need to be doing. And I know there's one coming up with Congressman Walden. I don't know the date on that exactly, but do you know the date by the chance? It's just being scheduled. We don't. Do we know a date? Okay, we don't have a date yet, but I know they're scheduling one. The 21st? 31st. Okay, he's going to be here the 31st. So, we know, and of course, I don't know how much in advance we had notice.
Yeah, there was a very short advance notice.
We had very short notice on that one, but on Evans now we have greater notice, so, we will.
Okay, with that understood, if you are talking to them on a weekly basis, as you were saying, it would be nice to have that published in some format so we, the citizens, know what that discussion is.
Well, typically, we're not talking with them. It'll be email, it will be correspondence, it will be updates, and so it's not conversations weekly. And I know the legislature in the past, too, for our state legislators, they've usually had a weekly or monthly conference by telephone, but those have not been scheduled as yet because the legislature is not just opened, so we haven't received any word whether they will be doing that. But these are usually updates on actions they have taken in Washington, D.C. or are planning on taking in Washington, D.C. And I know Commissioner Hare, who's not here today, but what he's doing is he's working on some of the forestry and ONC issues, and he's on the Governor's Commission. They call that a commission or a committee that they're working on the forestry issues that he's on.
Task force, I think.
The task force. He's on that task force. So we get communications through him from the legislators and the governor. So there's three of us, and because we don't have a county manager, we have to do all that kind of management and day-to-day hands-on type of things. So we kind of split up the duties here and keep the other informed. So, and as things transpire, we do discuss them in our public meetings, and if anything of importance that would affect the public, that's not just conversation and strategy, trying to move forward on these issues, particularly with the forestry and finances currently, it is in the public meeting and it is in the public purview.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Rice.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Second hearing for the district is February 7th.
February 7th. Okay. She just looked up here. The second hearing for the district is February 7th. And it will be in this building, same time. Okay, here at 9 o'clock on February 7th. Okay. All right. Any other public comment? Mr. Matthews had his hand up next, then we'll get to you. Thank you. Mr. Matthews.
Dale Matthews, Grants Pass. I did not know that these two ladies were going to be talking about television coverage. It's something that's important to me. You know that. One of the things that's pressing on us is this insistence by Charter Cable that if we're going to retain the channels that they signed a contract with us for, that we have to actually put things on those channels. And it's supposed to be locally originated. This is the government channel and the public access channel. There's a third one that could be brought into play, which is the education channel, which we don't have. There's 3 high schools in this area that get no access at all. Only Grants Pass High gets it through Channel 9. And Grants Pass High has said in the past they will not share that with the other 3 high schools. They told me they'd rather go dark than to share it. So we have a potential there. I've suggested several times that there are some keys to economic development that could be used there. There's also ways that we can communicate to people about how to be fire-wise, those kinds of things, may be more efficient than handing out a brochure or mailing one. And we could put that on our channel, on the government channel or the public access channel. We're not going to be able to wait forever with Charter because it's been over 6 months, now it's 7 months, that we haven't done any programming at all. The other thing we need to keep in mind is if we do have IT come in and we end up only televising this meeting, that's one meeting, 1 hour or an hour and a half a week. Well, we could replay that 12 times, 24 times in a day for 7 days a week. That's repetitive, and that's also against the contract that we signed with Charter. So one of the good things is I'm taping all of your meetings. And you'll have access for free to all of the things I'm taping, and it's you, nothing but you, speaking. So I'd love to put those things on there, and there's only one source that you can go to get that, and that's the videotapes that I've made, but it's all you. So I've suggested that what we do is kind of bundle a deal, and I'm happy to talk to you about how these things can be paid for and et cetera, and adjust whatever the rates are in order to be able to do that, so that you can have you constantly on one channel, and then maybe some of these other things, non-commercial things, from other groups that would be on the public access channel, including the kids singing I'm a Little Teapot at the elementary school, or playing a football game or basketball game, or local businesses that are talking about the value of moving to Josephine County and sharing some of those programs with public access channels in California, for example. We'd love to do that. And so I just want to light a gentle fire underneath you and say, if you're willing to sit down and talk about how we're doing it, everything's on the table. We're delighted to do so. There's more than me. There's lots of other ideas. Some money could potentially come from economic development. You happen to be the liaison, Commissioner Walker, not only to this project, but also to economic development. So whenever we can have a discussion, love to do that with you. Do you have any questions or comments for me?
Thank you. Appreciate your offer.
Let's do it.
Thank you. Rika.
Rika Brown, 1415 Southwest Bridge Street, Grants Pass. I can't believe Representative Wyden, or Senator Wyden, scheduled his meeting for our day of rest. Some people are religious about that, and they should be respected. It is the major religion of the country. But regarding the public meeting Friday that I will not be able to attend because I have work I need to do. What time is that? 9 o'clock a.m., yes. Yeah, I can only attend so many morning meetings a week, and this is my day of meetings.
We typically don't have them on Friday, but we've scheduled this one, so
yes,
we
but
know
we'll
there'll
be
some conflict.
visiting the subject again next Wednesday, I hear. And it's not so much set in stone that it's going to go on the ballot immediately. And you have lots of ideas to think about. And one of them was presented to the board the last time we put something on the ballot, which is a 2% sales tax. I think it ought to actually be 3%. 2% would bring us $12 million a year, is what my research showed. And I gave everything to the board. It's all on the public record. But 3% would give us actual decent sheriff protection. This, it would pay for filling the jail as far as it needs to fill, which is most of the way. And it would pay for patrols, and it would pay for our public safety system according to the figures given to us last time. I think you ought to put both proposals on the ballot up against each other, just like the legislature did on Measure 61 and 57. Most people, well, some people will vote against both. No doubt about it. That's what I did on 61 and 57. And some people will vote for both in the hope that something will pass. But the vast majority will vote for the tax they dislike the least in favor of the one they hate the most, the one they fear the most. Fear is what drives these things. Government is necessary evil, and taxes are feared and hated.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Ricky.
The date that they're looking at for that town hall, the Basker, January 30th.
January 30th for Wyden.
Yes, it's coming up here. But the application process is not complete, so we don't have a schedule.
Okay. Okay, I've just been informed that they're looking at January 30th for Wyden's Town Hall, but nothing is set yet, so that will be publicized. Okay, yes, sir. Come forward. Please state your name and your address. Please bear with me while I'm learning names, and sometimes
Sure.
I think I know them, but if I state it incorrectly, I'm embarrassed, and so are you. So,
No problem. Steve Raycraft, 3301 Leonard Road, Grants Pass, and co-director of Josephine County Right to Life. And I want to apologize. I should have stepped up earlier, and I regretted that when I sat down. I let Myrna say everything this morning, but I did come prepared to say just a little bit about Sanctity of Human Life Sunday and about the proclamation, and I do thank the commissioners for issuing that once again this year. But I wanted to share a statement made by our President Obama after the Sandy Hook shooting, and some of the words that he shared with the nation after that. He said that this is our first task, caring for our children. It's our first job. If we don't get that right, we don't get anything right. That's how, as a society, we will be judged. And by that measure, can we truly say as a nation that we're meeting our obligations? Can we honestly say that we're doing enough to keep our children, all of them, safe from harm? Can we claim as a nation that we're all together there, letting them know that they're loved and teaching them to love in return? Can we say that we're truly doing enough to give all the children in this country the chance they deserve to live out their lives in happiness and with purpose? I've been reflecting on this the last few days, and if we're honest with ourselves, the answer is no. We're not doing enough, and we will have to change. And in between, there have been endless series of almost daily reports of victims, many of them children in small towns and in big cities all across America. Victims who, much of the time, their only fault was being at the wrong place at the wrong time. We can't tolerate this anymore. These tragedies must end, and to end them, we must change. We will be told that the causes of such violence are complex, and that is true. No single law, no set of laws can eliminate evil from the world or prevent every senseless act of violence in our society. But that can't be an excuse for inaction. Surely we can do better than this. And those words are so timely and so relevant when we're talking about not only children that are born that we treasure in this country, but the unborn as well. We were privileged to have in our community last October a lady by the name of Gianna Jessen who spoke at the Pregnancy Care Center fundraiser. Gianna is a survivor of an abortion attempt, a beautiful woman with a great message, and she fights for the unborn. And one thing that she says about our country today and our world is that today a baby is a baby when it's convenient. It is a tissue or otherwise when the time is not right. Why is that? I see no difference. And I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. I'd like to just expand a little bit. You were talking about the children, and I think we need to consider that as well when we're talking about how we're going to fund county services, because we no longer have a juvenile justice facility. We no longer are able to protect our children on the streets at night. We're no longer able to protect them in their homes. So I'd just like to put that out there that we need to look at that as well. So, okay, anyone else? Yes, sir. Councilman Gatlin.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Welcome to the process of this necessary evil. Congratulations on your election. And I would like to address you a little bit about, Mark Gatlin, by the way, Grants Pass.
Thank you.
There is an apparent desire to cause hysteria in the discourse of the question of the taxing district that is coming before you. And I just want to applaud you for addressing that as something that has not been decided, not even discussed yet, certainly openly or amongst yourselves. So that process will continue, and the citizenry will see the good judgment that you exercise as a body. So I appreciate that. To the lady behind me who spoke earlier about her ideas, and several ideas in our community, I recognize that as well. In fact, I had one that was echoed on the radio show on KJO yesterday regarding volunteerism. And I think that motivating our citizenry to step up into the area of, for instance, our youth, and being mentors and being protectors, not only on a one-on-one basis but in mass, is something that we need to look at the different possibilities of how we can utilize our retired law enforcement and armed forces that live and participate in our community, maybe thinking that they can't offer anything or they don't know how to offer anything. We need to look at the ability that the ability we have to bring to them those ideas. And really just let it, as we come to the table with this thought process in mind to motivate volunteers, just let it naturally germinate into the purpose that it will find, and that is to lessen the load on our city, not only financially but with the problems that we have facing us in security, for instance. So I thank you again for your service to our county, and wish you well. And I'll be speaking with you in the future.
Thank you, Councilor Gatlin. Okay, is there anyone else who would like to speak? Okay, there being none. Oh,
let me just respond to that in some way. I'm somebody who likes to see the problem and solve the problem. In solving the problem, then you realize, man, there's all kinds of permutations on this problem, and lines go off in these scattered ways. volunteers to be involved in a whole host of things, I think is a wonderful idea and something that I've been stumping for a long time. One of the problems when it comes to the law enforcement or these kinds of things is, whether I like it or not, the reality is there is a litigious mindset that has to be addressed. And so protection for city, county, and some of those issues are solved by having restrictions on who can work and who can't work. And that's part of the frustration when you realize you've got this resource of people available, but they're not certified to work. So, all these things, we have a wonderful opportunity in front of us to try to solve this thing. It's a wonderful opportunity that's there. And it can be solved as we all pull together and work together to solve it. But it's not, if we just get 15 more people on the street, that's not the issue. It's a bigger, more multifaceted issue than that. And it just takes a commitment to work through it. And it's good to see that we live in a community that is committed to doing those things. So.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Hare. Okay, we will close the public comment session and move on to the consent calendar for the second time. Okay. These items have been previously discussed in our administrative meeting. I see a few people who were actually at some of those meetings. I will briefly describe what these are so that you will know what we're going to do here on our consent calendar. It's item 5A, ratify the decision to cancel evidentiary remand hearing set for January 16th, 2013. The original hearing request by applicant was filed with planning on November 16, 2012. The planning department conferred with the board chair to schedule the remand hearing for January 16, 2013. The applicant subsequently requested the scheduled hearing be canceled. The notice has not been published, but notice of cancellation sent to adjoining property owners from planning department. The board is ratifying the decision to cancel the evidentiary remand hearing set for January 16, 2013 at 9 a.m. Item 5B is the approval of position requisition to replace existing classification in community corrections, home detention specialist with the community corrections case specialist. The request was to modify the department case specialist position to allow this employee to take work crews into the field. With this addition, the case specialist becomes a utility player for community corrections programs, being able to assist and perform duties in support of programs such as home detention, work crew, supervisory authority, and treatment as needed. The change came as a result of loss of prosecution from the district attorney's office, which reduced program numbers to approximately half of historic numbers. Items 5C and D have the same justification. I will read the explanation for both of those. Approval of position requisition. Replace existing classification in Sheriff's Office, Chief Administrative Supervisor, with a Senior Administrative Supervisor. Over the course of severe budget cuts and staff reductions, we have redirected job duties to include duties previously performed by 6 separate positions and reduced them to these 2 job descriptions: Senior Administrative Supervisor and Administrative Budget Specialist. By reclassifying these 2 positions to include and distribute between the job duties of all the previous positions, it allows for us to be more efficient as well as saves us an estimated $30,000 annually, in addition to eliminating 4 positions during the fiscal year 12-13 budget process. Item 5D is the approval of the position requisition, replace existing classification in the Sheriff's Office, Administrative Assistant with Admin Specialist. So I read that in just so you would have that for the record. I've just read the C description for both. Item E has been pulled from the agenda. Item 5F is, excuse me, is Rosemary Padgett still here? No, she's not here. Okay. Item 5F, the approval of revised amendment number 1 to agreements number 27286 and number 27287 between the State of Oregon and Josephine County for highway bridge program projects. Both of these bridges have been identified for full replacement and will be funded under the Highway Bridge Program. This program provides for a local agency, the Josephine County Public Works, to provide a 10.27% match on bridges that qualify for a major rehab or full reconstruction. Public Works has used this program quite a bit over the past decade, and these will represent the 5th and 6th bridges replaced under this program. The matching funds for these bridge contracts will be borne exclusively by Public Works. There is zero impact on the general fund. It is worth noting that the full cost of $3 million of both bridges would represent almost 40% of Public Works' 2012-2013 budget. Both projects will be open to public competitive bid, with construction on both bridges scheduled to take place beginning in the summer of 2014. I will accept a motion on this consent calendar.
And I do move to approve consent calendar items 5A, B, C, D, and F with line E having been pulled.
I second the motion. Roll call.
Commissioner Hare?
Yes.
Commissioner Walker?
Yes. Motion has carried. Okay, are there any other items for the agenda?
Yes. Or Madison, Commissioner.
Commissioner Heck.
I'm sorry. I received an email from the director of the Siskiyou Community Health Center, and I thought it'd be worthwhile noting it because it is a tremendous asset and resource to the county. So Siskiyou Community Health Center is a nonprofit community-based health center that provides comprehensive primary and preventative health care and social services to medically underserved individuals and families regardless of their ability to pay. In 2011, the Siskiyou Community Health Center, which has a building here in town in the city limits as well as in Cave Junction, they injected $8.5 million of operating expenditures directly into the local economy. As if you take in the indirect and induced economic activity, total up about $13.1 million. They also generated 97, almost 98 full-time jobs. And that's a tremendous resource we have in the community as well, just from an economic and job program, but also for meeting some of the health needs of those who, other than Siskiyou's services, their needs would not be able to be met.
Thank you. That is a huge economic impact to our area. Okay, I'll move on to item 7, matters from the commissioners. Commissioner Heck, would you like to update us on any activities?
No, that was it.
That's it. Okay. I know this has come up before in our discussion today, but I would just like to again state that we want anyone who is interested in making statements to be able to have the opportunity to do so on Friday for the district hearing, 9 o'clock here in Basker Auditorium. But if you are not, and you know of someone else who could not come here, we will entertain written comment, written testimony that may be entered into the record. So please pass that word, and we would be glad to read all those comments when they come to us. So I would like to reiterate that we are working on getting the timeline scheduled for the broadcast of hearings here in the Ann Basker building. And that is all I have to say today. So nothing else, Commissioner Heck?
This is our second Wednesday full-time workshop meeting, or what the official name of this August meeting is, weekly business session. And last week, our first one was like 15 minutes and went by in a hurry because we didn't have anything on the agenda. This one, there's more. I would love to, I want to say, I appreciate the atmosphere in which this was conducted. And I would hope that the atmosphere that is here, we can disagree, but we can disagree agreeably, and we can continue to do the work of the community that needs to be done in the county. But it's enjoyable to be able to interchange ideas and express things without having to rail against people. So it was nice. I appreciate it.
I agree with Commissioner Heck, and I hope to see you all on Friday, and bring a friend, and please spread the word, because we sincerely do want to hear from the people on this very important issue that will affect Josephine County for several years to come. So please bring them and come along. Friday, 9 a.m. We'll see you then. This meeting is adjourned. Adjourned at 9:50 a.m.